I'm Gavin, and this is the Switcheroo.
If you've been playing MLS Fantasy for a bit, you've probably heard the term Switcheroo thrown around. In this video, I'll outline exactly what a Switcheroo is and how it will help you get the highest score in MLS Fantasy. So, what's a Switcheroo? A Switcheroo is an advanced MLS Fantasy tactic that helps a fantasy manager get the most possible points from their player picks. Instead of just playing all of your starters and hoping for the best, the Switcheroo utilizes your MLS Fantasy bench to increase your chances of getting the highest score from your players. What helped me understand the Switcheroo when I started playing was that you normally don't use a Switcheroo for your solid MLS Fantasy players. Switcheroos are most helpful to use when working with boom or bust players, or players that aren't so consistent. You may have also heard of the Keeperoo or the Autoroo, which is a flavor of the Switcheroo. Feel free to check out both of those videos. Links are in the description below. You'll need this to get started with your Switcheroo. First, enough budget. In the early game, it's rare to have enough money to do plenty of Switcheroos. Once we get later on in the season, you'll see Switcheroos happening left and right. Once you grow your wallet and have money to blow, it's time to start using the Switcheroo. And another key piece is having early game times. You'll need early game time so you can see your bench player's score first and decide if you want to keep that score or start another player in a later game. Now, let's walk through exactly how you can set up a Switcheroo. You can do multiple Switcheroos each game week, but to keep it simple, let's walk through one example. Let's use MLS Fantasy 2024 Round 2. To get started, we'll need to look at matches and game times to understand potential Switcheroo combinations. The early game will be our bench pick, and the later game will be our field pick. Also note, home field advantage is huge in the MLS, so I normally only use home players when selecting Switcheroo candidates. But it's the MLS, anything can happen, so go crazy. Here's some possible combinations for round 2. For my bench forward, I've got Pukki from Minnesota. They've got a 2 p.m. kickoff time. And then I've also got Suarez on the field for Miami. Miami's got a 4:30 p.m. kickoff time. Another combination is Clouch from St. Louis on our bench. St. Louis have an 8:30 p.m. kickoff time. And then we could have Anthony from Portland on the field, because Portland have a 10:30 p.m. kickoff time. Going back to our Pukki and Suarez combo, I should know Pukki's score before Suarez's game begins due to the 2.5-hour time difference. Also, it's early in the season. Both of these players haven't been guaranteed performers every week. I wouldn't want to swap Messi for Pukki because you really just want to start Messi straight up each week. Messi is more of a set and forget forward, where Pukki and Suarez you aren't too sure. Also, forwards are quite goal dependent, so they are good Switcheroo targets. Alright, now let's actually walk through how we'd use this for round 2. I've got Pukki on my bench, and I've got Suarez on the field. I'll want to keep Suarez on the field if Pukki puts up a 5 or lower. I'll usually take a score of 6 from my bench players. Here's some scenarios that could take place during the game week. Let's say, for the first scenario, Pukki gets a goal and puts up a 7. I want to keep this 7, so I want to get rid of Suarez on the field. If I remove Suarez, I'll search for a 4 million forward who most likely won't play. So I'll look for Atlanta as they're on bye, and then I'll put in Thiari. At the end of the game week, Thiari will get a DNP below his name. That means Pukki will sub on at the end of the game week, and his points will count. You'll be able to tell Pukki's points counted because they will change from black to green. Now let's walk through another scenario. Let's say Pukki doesn't score or get an assist and only puts up a 2. I don't want a 2. I want at least a 6. So I'll keep Suarez on the field and hope for the best. I wait for the Miami game to happen and hopefully Suarez puts up some big numbers. Alright, so that's a Switcheroo in a nutshell. Remember, in order for your bench player to sub on for your field player, that field player needs to be a DNP and not 0 points. There is a big difference. So for this example, let's say Suarez got a 1 for playing the first 45 minutes, and then he also got a yellow card, so a -1. He got subbed off at halftime. His points would be 0. Pukki would not sub on for him because Suarez got a 0. Suarez played. That player on the field has to be a DNP, not a 0. Be sure to remember that when using your Switcheroo. I hope this was helpful. Let me know in the comments if I missed anything or if you have any questions. If you like this video, be sure to go watch my other advanced MLS Fantasy Tactic videos.